Now, as the new IT rules for social media came into effect, there's been an all-out war between the centre and tech giants. Centre has given its last ultimatum to the social media giants to comply with the new rules. The IT ministry, in a strongly worded letter, has sought details of compliance and asked firms to appoint compliance officers. Sources told India Today that so far none of the big social media companies are on 100% compliance with the new intermediary rules. Facebook has maintained that it aims to comply with the new rules and will continue to discuss a few issues which need more engagement with the centre. Twitter so far hasn't even issued a statement. WhatsApp has decided to go to court against the new rules, calling it effectively ending user privacy. Google, in its statement, has said that they've consistently invested in personnel to ensure combating illegal content in an effective and fair way. As far as streaming services, OTT platforms go, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Disney Hotstar, Sony Live, they've hired now compliance officers.
It's big tech versus the government of India. As new IT rules for social media companies take effect, large digital platforms, Facebook and Google, have said they are working towards meeting compliance requirements. But here's what the fresh guidelines for social media say. Tech firms need to appoint three types of officials: a chief compliance officer, who will ensure that new rules are followed; a nodal officer, who will be in touch with law enforcement agencies 24/7 to remove or block any illegal or inflammatory content; a resident grievance officer, who will acknowledge grievances within 24 hours and respond to complaints within 15 days. Companies also need to identify the first originator of any controversial or disputed message. The three official panel will be liable if any illegal content is shared over their platforms. Non-compliance with rules would result in these social media companies losing their intermediary status that provides them exemptions and specified immunity from liabilities for any third-party information and content hosted by them. In other words, if the tech giants don't comply, they will be liable for action. While Facebook and Google have said they are working on complying with the new IT rules, Twitter has not commented on it so far. Its Indian rival Coup has said it has complied with the requirements of the new guidelines. WhatsApp has challenged the new IT rules in Delhi High Court. YouTube too is yet to respond. Apart from the digital war, a political war has also erupted, with the opposition accusing the Modi government of bullying and intimidation.
What happens when you start finding the end-to-end encryption and tracing the first originator and direction to stop? What happens to privacy? It is blown up by a bomb called the Modi government bomb. This is complete censorship, complete thought control, complete terrorizing of the social media, complete control freak.
What we have unfortunately seen coming from the government of India is, instead of seeking accountability, they are seeking control. Instead of ensuring that rights of citizens are maintained and free and fair news stories reach to them, we have seen that they're trying to control what is being read, what is being shared, and anyone who has a differing point of view will be held accountable.
The centre has been on the warpath with social media giants, especially Twitter, for a while now. But the question is, can internet really be policed? Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, in a bid to boost vaccine supply to India, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will be holding key meetings in the United States to ease the vaccine supply chain. This as the country is facing a major vaccine shortage across different states. Jaishankar is on a 5-day visit to the United States, and the minister has already held a meeting with the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres over the COVID challenges. During the meet, Jaishankar reiterated that it's critical to ramp up vaccine supply chain to ensure greater production and also fairer distribution among all countries of the jabs. Jaishankar will also review the on-ground situation to identify where things stand in terms of the US Defense Production Act, which continues to hamper free flow of vaccine ingredients to other countries. Jaishankar is the first senior Indian official to visit the United States in person since President Joe Biden took to office. And well, even as we are tracking the latest on vaccine supply, there are questions about the vaccine passports or whether it will happen by way of the WHO's pre-qualification. Covaxin developers say it's a myth and that pre-qualification is required only for wider acceptability outside India. The government also says that this is being decided and that the WHO has not arrived at any consensus yet. But what exactly is the WHO pre-qualification and why is it needed? Sneha Murdani explains.
The only way to cushion the third wave is to vaccinate, vaccinate and vaccinate as many people as we can. But India's pace has been woefully slow. The reason is shortage, and there is criticism about India not being prompt in looking at procuring vaccines like Pfizer and Moderna.
We should have anticipated the same happening here a little later. We should have capitalized on the large manufacturing capacity of vaccines that India has and finalized the deals with these companies to manufacture their vaccines in India. All this should have happened 4 or 5 months ago so that we could be using those vaccines now and seeing the pandemic through by September, October 21.
We underestimated the vaccine requirement, say public health experts.
It seems to have originated from insufficient amount of time and thinking given to supply and procurement of vaccines, and more attention was given on the prioritization of target population. We also need to remember that vaccine manufacturing is a complex process, and reliance on 1 or 2 vaccine manufacturers is something like putting all the eggs in single basket.
At least in its dealings with Pfizer, the deal breaker last year was the insistence on indemnity clause and also Pfizer's insistence on not conducting bridging studies, conditions that India's drug regulator did not agree to. You know, Dr. Guleria, as early as the month of August and September last year, we were having a conversation about Pfizer approaching the regulators. Do you think the decision that the regulators have now taken, apply for emergency use authorization, a decision is going to be taken in 3 days, carry on with bridging studies, this could have been done earlier, we could have saved more lives?
One could always argue that retrospectively, if we had done away with the bridging studies in the past and said that you can just approve vaccines with the regulatory approval being there from, let's say, the foreign regulators, we should accept that and go ahead. But then there was a lot of concern that in our own population, we may have side effects which may cause problems which may not get picked up. And if that approval was given, then people would start criticizing the regulator for giving approval which were not really justified.
Now, a conversation is underway with both of these companies. The centre also justifying the centralised policy of dealing with the companies themselves.
चाहे फाइजर हो, मॉडर्ना हो, हम उन सबके साथ सेंटर लेवल से कोऑर्डिनेट करते हुए उनको 2 तरीके से फैसिलिटेट कर रहे हैं. एक तो उनके रेगुलेटरी फैसिलिटेशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ अप्रूवल्स, दूसरा प्रोक्योरमेंट रिलेटेड फैसिलिटेशन. और बोथ फाइजर एंड मॉडर्ना, most of the time their orders books is already full, so it is depending on their surplus how much they can provide to India. They will come back to government of India and will ensure and facilitate कि उसके बेसिस पर हम वो सारी चीजें स्टेट लेवल पर उसको सप्लाई किया जा सके, कोऑर्डिनेट किया जा सके, फैसिलिटेट कर पाएं.
Moderna is expected to launch a single-dose COVID-19 vaccine in India next year and is in talks with Cipla among other firms. While Moderna has conveyed to Indian authorities that it does not have surplus vaccines to share in 2021, US giant Pfizer is ready to offer 5 crore shots in 2021. But it continues to insist on regulatory relaxations, including indemnification, it enjoys in many other countries. Pfizer says it can provide vaccines in tranches of 1 crore. 1 crore in July, 1 crore in August and 2 crores in September, again a crore in October for supply to India this year, and that it's only going to be dealing with the Government of India, and payment for the vaccines will have to be made by the Government of India to Pfizer India. In a statement to India Today, Pfizer said that it is committed to continue engagement with the Government of India to support its fight against the pandemic and to make the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine available for use in the country. It also says the discussions are ongoing. At least 2 high-level meetings were held only last week to discuss the manner in which the widening gap between supply and demand of vaccine doses in India can be stemmed and how Pfizer and Moderna can be brought to the country. Pfizer has suggested that at least 116 countries have signed the indemnification document, and it expects India to do the same. Given the fact that over 14 crore doses of Pfizer's vaccine have been administered outside of India and very little serious adverse events, very few adverse events have been reported, and also that this vaccine is being given to children, makes the proposition of having this vaccine in India an exciting one. In New Delhi, Sneha Murdani for India Today.
Now, on May 21st, UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath visited a primary healthcare centre. This was in Lucknow's Katwara. Nurses and doctors were on the shift. The vaccination drive was also going on smoothly. The COVID fight seemed on point, and India Today's team visited the same healthcare centre a few days later to check if everything is still in place or not. And here's what we found.
On May 21st, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh made a surprise visit to the primary healthcare centre in Lucknow's Katwara. On the whirlwind tour, he wanted to check the preparedness in different areas of Uttar Pradesh. And so, what did he see? Nothing out of the ordinary. Doctors and nurses pulling their shifts, a vaccination drive taking place. The UP Chief Minister interacted with some villagers and asked them about their health. Everything was as it should be. But wait, is everything really as what the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh was meant to see? India Today went back to the same healthcare centre to check for ourselves. No doctor, no compounder, no nurse, and not even a dispenser. A big lock on OPD. So is this the same place that Yogi Adityanath visited just 4 days ago? Sadly, it is.
यहाँ पर जो लोग तैनात रहते हैं उनमें से कोई मौजूद है?
नहीं, अभी नहीं है।
यहाँ यानी कि करीब 8 लोग होने चाहिए ड्यूटी पर, लेकिन यहाँ असलियत कुछ और है। यहाँ पर इस वक्त यहाँ इस जो प्राथमिक स्वास्थ्य केंद्र है इसमें मौजूद जो तैनात हैं लोग वो कोई मौजूद नहीं है।
While the vaccination drive is still going on, the jab seekers have no doctor in attendance. If one of them starts feeling unwell or anything.
जो आपके प्रोटोकॉल है कि वैक्सीन के बाद आधा घंटा वेट करना है, तो वेट करने का यहाँ पे कोई वो नहीं है। सपोज करिए कुछ हो जाता है सपोज, तो आप देख ही रहे हैं कि सब कुछ बंद है।
The India Today team also met up with the same villager who had a conversation with the Chief Minister when he was here on May 21st.
यहाँ कोई सुविधा नहीं है। जब मंत्री जी उन्होंने आया तभी रात में जांच हमारे परिवार की हुई और हमारी भी जांच हुई और पर्चा भी लगा।
उससे पहले कुछ नहीं?
कुछ नहीं हुआ।
मुख्यमंत्री के आने के पहले सब यहाँ सब लेबर लग गए, सब झाड़ू पोंछा सब लग गया यहाँ, सब हर अधिकारी यहाँ का डॉक्टर अलग आ गए, सब कुछ। जब मोदी है योगी है तब खाली बात चाचा करके बस 2 मिनट मुश्किल रुके बस चले गए।
जब वो आने वाले थे खबर थी तब रात में भी आए अधिकारी लोग और सुबह सब लोग आके, उसके पहले कुछ यहाँ नहीं था।
तो यहाँ आकर के क्या बदल गए, क्या किया?
बस ये सफाई बदल गया, कुछ नहीं बदला।
With Shivendra Srivastav in Lucknow, Bureau Report, India Today.
Welcome back. Well, the world witnessed a super celestial event in the sky as the moon came closest to the earth and completely covered in the earth's shadow. The phenomenon, a total lunar eclipse, is the lone one this year.
super celestial event in the sky amid the severe cyclonic storm Yas's fury. The first lunar eclipse of 2021, and it's special for more reasons than one. The moon completely covered in Earth's shadow. The phenomenon, a total lunar eclipse, is the lone one this year. The moon, when closest to the Earth, leads to this phenomenon called a supermoon, appearing particularly large in the sky. Since the two celestial events collide, it's the super blood moon. The moon, despite being covered in Earth's shadow, doesn't go completely dark, but takes a reddish tone instead. The Indian Met Department has warned that Cyclone Yas's post-landfall impact might actually worsen due to spring tides resulting from the full moon and lunar eclipse.
जो तूफान बवंडर जो खड़ा हुआ है और ये भयानक तरीके से हमारे अलग-अलग हिस्सों को, तटीय हिस्सों को, उड़ीसा से, बंगाल से और बाकी तट के इलाकों पे जो टकराने जा रहा है, तो वो धरती के वातावरण की घटना है. इसका कोई खगोलीय घटना से लेना देना नहीं.
Not everyone will be able to catch a glimpse of this rare celestial event. People in the national capital won't be able to see it, as the moon will be below the horizon. The lunar eclipse is visible for a short span of time from the northeastern parts of India, including West Bengal, Odisha, and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, where Cyclone Yas has an impact. The super blood moon has its own spiritual significance as well.
So, the reason why so many things are taken care of on a full lunar eclipse day is because you're passing 28 days in 2 hours' time, approximately 2 hours' time. Anything that moves away from its natural condition will naturally deteriorate very, very fast on this day.
Will the rare lunar event lead to increased cyclone impact in India's eastern coast? A country will be watching. Bureau Report, India Today.